Hey guys, so today we're going to talk about how to do homeschool on a budget. So go ahead, click that subscribe button, and then we're going to get going. Yeah, so first off, it's actually snowing in Tennessee, in West Tennessee. That's like, it never snows this much, especially, look at all that snow. I'm so happy. Okay, it's been snowing for a couple days here, and it never lasts this long ever, because I think it started snowing Saturday or Sunday really is when it started snowing. Had a little bit Saturday, and now it's Wednesday and we're still getting snow, so it's exciting. But anyways, okay, back to how to homeschool on a budget. There are several different ways that you can do budgeting when it comes to homeschooling, because typically, yes, in the grand scheme of things, you think, oh my gosh, homeschooling is so much more expensive than public school, because you have to have the curriculums depending on, you know, in the state of Tennessee, if you're doing umbrella school or not. All that matters differently. So here's just going to be a few tips on how to offset that cost and to help you be able to do homeschooling on a more reasonable budget, I guess. So first and foremost, look at homeschool resale pages on Facebook. If you don't have Facebook, create a Facebook if it's just to join those pages, because there is so many curriculum options out there. There's so many people out there that they have no use for those books anymore, so they're trying to get rid of them, or you can put what you're in search of and somebody else may have it. Like, I'm part of a couple of Facebook groups. One's more locally here in West Tennessee, and the other one's like, I mean, I've bought stuff from people that's, you know, in Texas and California, and it's been just fine. I will say that I've never got burned by buying anything like that offline. It was always exactly what I expected. They arrived in a timely manner. There was no issues with payments, anything like that. And I got what I wanted. Now, even if you can't get the actual textbook, especially if it's one that's like a consumable math book, you may not be able to get the actual math workbook because they consumed it, but you can get like the teacher's key or the answers keys, that kind of stuff for it. Because there's, for instance, my son's 6th grade history and geography, I wanted a maps and activity. I want that maps and activity book with it because I want that for the geography aspect. But I also need the answer key, and then I need the answer key for the test that I can buy separately. But I'm like, that right there saved me, you know, $20, $30 plus shipping for just getting it from somebody that no longer needed it and was willing to sell it to me. So that helps out a lot. I've been able to slowly but surely build up what I have for each child that I need for the coming school year. So look on Facebook groups. Facebook groups also, it's a good way to see a lot of the different curriculums that are not your mainstream curriculums. Now, this being said, if I mention a lot of curriculums or umbrella schools, I'm not affiliated. This video is not sponsored, anything like that. But Facebook is a great way to see all the different curriculum sources out there. And even if it's just to like look on there just to see other curriculums, then just go to the website and see what their curriculum is about. You may not necessarily want to buy it and all, but it's also a good source just to learn about the different options out there. Also, another way to save money is when it comes to manipulatives. Most math sets sell manipulatives with them. I know for a lot of math sets, they're good for like 2 or 3 grades. So that way, once you buy the manipulatives once for like kindergarten, Saxon math or something, then you can buy the manipulatives. Then it may last you for 1st and 2nd grade too, or something like that. That you can make the manipulatives more than 1 year. Now, you can do that, or for instance, I have the manipulative set for BJU math for 4th, 5th, and 6th grade. I only got it when my son was in 5th grade. Now, I can use those same manipulatives for my son who is in 3rd grade, even though he's not using BJU. If he needs a fraction set, I already have it from that one. So you can use pieces of other manipulative sets that you already have for another child. Or you can just stick with the ones that you've used it for 4th, 5th, and 6th, and now you're done with it, so then you're done. Another thing with manipulatives is just make your own. One of my sons needed some little like Apple manipulatives or something like that to do some fraction work with. And honestly, I just gave him 20 paper clips and he was able to do the exact same thing. Instead of it little being apple pieces, it was paper clips. It didn't cost me nothing. And it made it a lot easier because I didn't have to buy that manipulative set or activity set. So you can use a set that you already have for one child and use parts of that for another child. If you buy the manipulative set, if it's worth it to you, make sure you use it all 3 years or get as much use out of it as you can to truly get your money's worth. Or you can piece together your own manipulative set at home. I know that through stores like Books A Million, I've heard a lot of good about Target Hotspot, Dollar Tree, you can go and buy manipulative little pieces and kind of piece together your own. So that's another option. When it comes to like the base 10 or the 100 block, I will probably get those separately, but if that's all I'm really needing, then I can just purchase that separately and I don't have to have everything else that I don't necessarily need or that I can find a way to get around with using just regular household items. That's one reason I'm really excited about the curriculum I'm going to use for our kindergartner is it's purposely built around also being able to use at-home items for the manipulative set. So it's designed that way for a reason, and I'm really excited to get that and to actually show it to y'all too. But to use that, that's one of the big aspects I want in that math. So you can reuse manipulatives for more than one child, for more than one grade, create your own manipulatives, piece it together yourself or use at-home items. Another way that you can do it is by making non-consumable books, making consumable books non-consumable. There you go. I was getting it backwards. Now, you can do this several different ways. Part of the way that I do it is, for instance, with my older son's math book, I don't let him write in the book at all. When my now 3rd grader, that he'll be ready to use that same book in about 2 years. So he'll do the exact same thing. So that way when my kindergartner gets up to that age, I can still keep that same book. I already have all the teacher's books. I have all the manipulatives. I have everything I need for 5th grade math. So I don't let him write in the book. And then that way that saves me. Now, if I decided that I wanted to go and for instance, if I decide to let one of them write in the book, then I still have the teacher's book and I still have the manipulative. So all I would just be that one single textbook. So if for you and you have multiple kids, you might be like, well, I'll keep the teacher's key, which can sometimes be almost as much as the book, as the teacher's or as the student book in some, depending on their curriculum. And it might be worth just having that one, like just the actual math workbook, and that be it for all your kids. And that's fine. So there's that way you can save too, as long as you like the curriculum, then I really recommend you hold on to that curriculum. So that way you already have the teacher's key, you have what you need, and then that way you're just out maybe 1 or 2 books or textbook or activity consumable books for another child. Now, what some people try to do, and I've never tried this, or what some people do and I've never done it, is they photocopy a book for another child in their house. Now, some companies will not let you do that. Some companies, they're okay with it if you're photocopying it from, that you bought it for child 1 and they used it, so you're photocopying it for child 2. They're okay because it's in the same household. The only way to really know that would be to contact that actual company and ask, can their books be photocopied? And you can explain the scenario. So it can easily make a consumable book non-consumable, and that way it'll save you a little bit of cost, whether it's by keeping the teacher and the same thing, or by actually saving that actual textbook and just making them write the work and do all the work in a notebook instead. Another way to do it would be by getting one subject at a time. So for instance, like me, I have three sons. So I've got 3 kids that are trying to homeschool. So I need 3 different grades of curriculum. So the way that you can do that is maybe one month you can be like, okay, this month I'm gonna get all 3 of the kids' history. And then the next month I'm gonna get all 3 of the kids' math. or something like that and piece it up together, or break it up to where you're getting little pieces here and there, and slowly but surely you're building up the curriculum for the next school year. At this point, I've got all but one subject that I need for my kindergarten. Most of my curriculum for my 6th grader from next year, because I have a friend of mine who homeschools as well, and her son is a grade older than my oldest son. So I can just call her up and be like, hey, what curriculum do you not want to keep? Or, you know, do you have anything that I could use that you'd be willing to part with? And so that's really worked out in my favor this year. And it helps her out too, because she's getting a little bit of the money back from what she spent on them to begin with. And then I also have part of my other son's, part of his science and everything as well. Or I'm doing like one specific science unit. I will keep my upcoming 4th grader and kindergartner kind of on the same science path a little bit, and keep them on the same science unit, so that way I only have to buy one science unit instead of 2 different things. Check sales, like a lot of the curriculum websites, a lot of the bigger companies, they have a lot of like President's Day sales, free shipping sales, something like that. So if maybe you couldn't catch the sale next year, or even this year, maybe if the President's Day sale passed and you didn't realize it till too late, just remember that okay, around this time they usually have a President's Day sale. I mean, you know, most companies have a sale around Memorial Day, especially considering that's the end of most people's typical school year is Memorial Day. So they're gonna be like, hey, let's go ahead and throw a sale in there, and then parents can buy for the upcoming year quicker. And then also, if you do an umbrella school, maybe one month or whatever, you'll be like, okay, this month I need to re-register and pay registration fees for the umbrella school, and that's all you do for that coming school year. Because it's little stuff like that that you'll eventually snowball into getting everything that you need without doing it all in one fell swoop. So it doesn't seem like it's as much, or you're being able to get this on a deal, get that on a deal, find that on Facebook, and it kind of works its way together, and you end up saving money in the long run. Another thing is, I don't know if they still have curriculum fairs around or not. I know that when I was homeschooled, we used to go to curriculum fairs a lot, and they were so much fun because you could see all the different vendors, you could see all the different books. And I know now that they have places like that, they typically offer discounts. They typically offer discounts, which again saves you some money. Plus, again, you can see all the different kinds of curriculums and that kind of thing. Also, I know that some some towns have some actually like used curriculum stores, which is really awesome. I wish there was one around our town. Maybe I need to start one. That would be so cool. So check out somewhere like that. See if you have somewhere that has used curriculum that you can buy. Even if, like I said, even if it's just the teacher key, because if a teacher key costs $10, $15, $20, and you can buy it for $10, like you're already saving money there, so you can put that into the student textbook or something like that that's consumable. So it's not going to cost as much. Check out curriculum fairs if you have a used bookstore around you, something like that. One way that I keep straight of what I want is I just have a basic notebook, and every year I'll write out 6th, 4th, and K for this year, and then I write down the subjects that I want. I pretty much already know the curriculum that I want for each subject, and I write it down, and then I can put on one of my Facebook groups. I can put what I'm in search of, see if I get any hits. If not, I'll take down the post and I'll try something else. I've got pretty much everything that I need already in a shopping cart ready to go. I'm just waiting for a sale on shipping or curriculum sale or something. I'm just waiting on something like that to click that send button and get the rest of what I need for school. Part of a umbrella school, see if they give you a teacher's discount. I know our particular school does, and I know that the particular Books A Million that is near us, they took that no problem. I just provided the school's information, and that was that. Let's see, I think that's really about it. So the best way to budget would just be check out the Facebook groups, even if you have to create a Facebook group, because it's an awesome place. Manipulatives, check websites for sales, see if your umbrella school, if you do registration costs, see if sometime they might give you a discount for pre-registration when they open the pre-registration. See if they might give you a discount then as an incentive to go ahead and register so they know you're done. Or websites, check them for Memorial Day sales, President's Day sales, just random sales. Get on email lists so that way you know when a sale's coming up and you can judge accordingly. Do one subject at a time maybe. And then also just the curriculum fair. See if there's any in your area. If, like I said, a lot of vendors usually give discounts. So check that out. See if there's one locally close to you or within a reasonable drive that would be worth it. Get some friends together, get some other homeschool moms together, and go to a curriculum fair. Check with other homeschool moms. See what curriculum they don't use anymore, or if they have some that they're not going to be needing, so you can buy it off of them. So there's a lot of ways you can offset the whole dollar signs that come when you hear the word homeschooling. A lot of people, they're like, that sounds great, but they just see the dollar signs. There's ways to offset that cost. You just do it a little bit at a time. Like I said, I've had this little notebook together with the boys' upcoming curriculums that I wanted since probably before Christmas, for a couple months now. And I've just slowly but surely been finding them on sale on Facebook groups, or kind of know where I can get it and at what price it typically is, so that way when it goes on sale, I'm gonna know it and I can snatch it up. And I've been able to piece together a lot. Like I said, I can't just do this all at one time. And then also one thing to keep in mind too is keep in mind, if you do order offline, that make sure your company gets lead time, because I know last year everything was off because it was COVID, and there was a whole lot more homeschoolers. So a lot of homeschool companies that typically get it to you within a reasonable amount of time, they had problems getting it from their own supply companies or the paper from their supplier to make it. So suppliers were down, which was affecting their lead times. So I think it's all kind of smoothed out from what I can tell, but you might just want to double check that, because if you feel like you're going to be kind of pushing it for this coming school year, then maybe just send a quick email, be like, hey, what's your current lead time? So that way you know ahead of time, and you can know if it's worth, okay, going ahead and getting that order now, and then I'll get what I need later that I can get easier. As always, y'all, if you have any kind of questions or comments, or if there's any other tip that y'all know of in the comments, let me know down below. Like I said.